I don't want to put too much stock into this. I mean, look, you have hiccups all the time, ailments all the time, and I can't tell how many times I've had something and gone out there and pitched well and won. So I don't want to sit here and go backwards and say and blame injuries for any way I pitched. When I take the mound, I take the mound, and I'm going to win.
I really remember him as a pitcher and not wanting to face him just because he threw so hard. So, but he did everything well behind the plate. You know, I thought he was an awesome catcher, hit a lot of home runs, and we have a lot of good memories together.
I couldn't see the ball. That's what Mookie Betts said after stepping into the batter's box against Max Scherzer. Not because of the lights, not because of nerves, but because facing Mad Max feels like staring into a storm that's about to destroy you. And Mookie isn't the only one. Bryce Harper said Scherzer stared through his soul. Kris Bryant called the ball invisible. Freddie Freeman, one of the best hitters alive, got baffled by a single pitch. These aren't rookies getting rattled. These are superstars, Hall of Fame caliber players. Yet every single one of them felt unprepared the first time they locked eyes with Max Scherzer. So what is it about this man that makes the best hitters in baseball feel like they've never held a bat before? The answer isn't just in his arm, it's in his eyes, his intensity, his will. And today we're diving into the exact moments when legends faced Scherzer for the first time and realized they were in way over their heads. Because these stories, straight from the hitters themselves, reveal why Max Scherzer isn't just a great pitcher. He's a psychological weapon. Let's start with Bryce Harper, and this one hits different because Harper knows Scherzer better than almost anyone. They were teammates, they won a World Series together in Washington, they celebrated championships side by side. So when Harper talks about being shocked by Scherzer's intensity, you have to listen, because this isn't some random opponent trying to hype up a rival. This is a guy who shared a clubhouse with Max, who watched him prepare, who saw him off the field. And even Harper, with all that closeness, still got overwhelmed the first time he faced him in a game. Harper described Scherzer's demeanor as psycho intensity, not competitive, not focused, psycho. And that word's choice matters. Because Scherzer doesn't just pitch with emotion, he weaponizes it. Media outlets have literally called him the biggest psycho in baseball. And Harper, a player known for his own fire and passion, admitted that Scherzer's level of aggression exists on a different planet. When you step into the box against Max, you're not facing a man throwing a baseball. You're facing something primal, something that feels like it wants to break you in half. Scherzer stands 6'3". He hunches over aggressively. His throwing arm hangs low like a predator ready to pounce. And then there are his eyes, those mismatched eyes, one blue, one brown, locked directly onto you with a stare that doesn't blink, doesn't waver. It's a look that says you're already beaten. Harper felt it, and it shocked him, because even though he knew Scherzer personally, once Max stepped on that mound, he transformed into something else entirely. Someone who projects his fury outward. Someone who makes you absorb all the pressure while he operates at maximum emotional capacity without breaking. That's not normal intensity. That's calculated intimidation, and Harper recognized it immediately. Recognized it. Now let's talk about Mookie Betts. If Bryce Harper represents raw competitive fire, Mookie represents the opposite. He's analytical, disciplined, one of the smartest hitters in baseball. Mookie studies pitchers. He breaks down patterns. He waits for his pitch. He has elite contact skills and incredible pitch recognition. He doesn't swing and miss often. But against Max Scherzer, all of that goes out the window, because Scherzer forces Mookie to do something that no pitcher should ever be able to force him to do. Guess. Think about what that means for a second. Guessing isn't part of Mookie Betts' approach. Guessing is what struggling hitters do. But Scherzer's pitch mix is so chaotic, so unpredictable that even Mookie can't solve it. Scherzer throws 4 pitches: fastball, slider, changeup, cutter, and he can throw every single one of them for a strike at any time in any count. He'll start you off with a slider, then pump a fastball in the mid-90s, then drop a changeup that looks identical out of his hand. There's no pattern, no rhythm, no tell. And hitters only have about 0.4 of a second to recognize the pitch and decide whether to swing. Scherzer shortens that window even more. His velocity combined with his deception removes the foundation of elite hitting. Pattern recognition disappears, discipline becomes useless, and suddenly, Mookie Betts, one of the most prepared hitters on the planet, is standing in the box hoping he guesses right. That's intellectual surrender, and it speaks to how dominant Scherzer truly is. He doesn't just overpower bad hitters, he breaks the brains of the best hitters. He makes them abandon their training, their preparation, everything they've worked on. Mookie admitting he has to guess is one of the highest compliments a hitter can give a pitcher, because it means Scherzer has achieved total unpredictability. And when you can't predict what's coming, you can't hit it. If you're loving this breakdown of how Scherzer dismantles even the best hitters, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling me which pitch you think you'd try to guess against Max. Fastball, slider, changeup? Let me know, because honestly, I don't think any of us would stand a chance. Now we move to Freddie Freeman, and this matchup is fascinating because Max Scherzer himself called Freddie Freeman hands down the best hitter he's ever had to face. That's insane. Scherzer has faced everyone, every generation, every style, but he singles out Freddie. That's the ultimate sign of respect. Except here's the twist. Despite that respect, Scherzer dominated Freeman. In 63 career plate appearances, Freddie only hit .208 against him. Let that sink in. The hitter Scherzer respects the most couldn't figure him out. And that's because Scherzer didn't just throw hard at Freddie. He attacked him with surgical precision. The weapon of choice was the cutter. Freddie recalls his first at-bat against West Scherzer being defined by total confusion. The cutter came in hot. It looked like a fastball. Freddie started his swing, but then the ball broke hard toward his hands. It jammed him. It disrupted his mechanics. It made him feel like his bat was 3 feet too long. That's the beauty of the cutter against a left-handed hitter like Freddie. It exploits his natural swing path. Freddie wants to extend his arms and drive the ball, but Scherzer's cutter doesn't let him. It forces him to fight off pitches, to make weak contact, to feel uncomfortable, and Freddie Freeman is not a hitter who gets uncomfortable easily. He's won an MVP. He's one of the most consistent players in baseball history. But the first time he faced Scherzer, he got baffled. That word came up again and again when Freddie talked about it. Baffled, confused, outmatched. Because Scherzer didn't just rely on stuff. He studied Freddie, he knew his swing, he knew his tendencies, and he built a game plan specifically designed to neutralize the best hitter he'd ever faced. That level of preparation combined with that level of execution is why Scherzer owns a .208 average against Freeman, despite calling him the toughest out he's ever seen. Then we get to Kris Bryant. And Bryant's description of facing Scherzer might be the most unsettling of all. He said the ball felt invisible. Not fast, not unhittable, invisible, like it vanished into thin air. And that's not an exaggeration. That's a real sensory breakdown caused by Scherzer's delivery. See, elite hitters rely on two things: timing and visual tracking. They watch the ball out of the pitcher's hand. They track it all the way to the plate. They see the spin, the seams, the movement. But against Scherzer, that process breaks down. The ball doesn't behave the way it should. Scherzer has a long stride. He releases the ball with incredible extension. That means he's letting go of the pitch closer to home plate than most pitchers, and that shortens the distance the ball has to travel, which shortens the time the hitter has to react. So even though the radar gun might say 95 miles per hour, it feels like 99. The ball appears late, it jumps on you, and by the time your brain processes what's happening, the ball is already past you. That's what Bryant experienced. He couldn't track it. He couldn't time it. His eyes, the most important tool a hitter has, failed him. And when your eyes fail, you're done. Bryant talked about how hitters sometimes say a pitch looks like a beach ball. That's the dream. That's when you're locked in and everything is clear. Scherzer does the opposite. He makes the ball shrink. He makes it disappear. And that's not just about velocity. It's about deception. It's about biomechanics. It's about a pitcher who has engineered every part of his delivery to mess with your perception. Kris Bryant faced some of the nastiest pitchers in baseball, but the first time he faced Scherzer, he saw something he'd never seen before. A ball that didn't exist until it was too late. Finally, we come to Javier Baez. And Baez's reaction is different, because Baez isn't analytical like Mookie. He isn't smooth like Freddie, he's chaos. He's aggression. He's a guy who swings at everything and somehow makes it work. So when Baez faced Scherzer, it wasn't about being outsmarted or deceived. It was about raw competition. It was about two gladiators going at each other full force, and Baez loved it. There's a famous moment where Scherzer threw a 2-2 fastball past Baez for a strikeout. And as the ball hit the catcher's glove, Scherzer let out this ferocious grunt. Not a yell, a grunt. A primal sound that came from deep in his chest. It was pure competitive fire. And Baez, who just got struck out, didn't get mad. He respected it. He called Scherzer crazy in a good way, because Baez understood what that grunt meant. It meant Scherzer cared. It meant he was willing to put everything into every pitch. It meant he wasn't just trying to win. He was trying to dominate. That grunt became a signature moment because it captured everything about Scherzer's approach. He doesn't hide his emotions. He doesn't play it cool. He unleashes everything he has. And hitters like Baez, who play the same way, recognize that intensity and respect it. Baez knew that facing Scherzer wasn't just a battle of skill, it was a test of will. And even though Scherzer won that matchup, Baez walked away admiring the competitor he just faced. So now we've heard from 5 of the best hitters in baseball. Bryce Harper shocked by the psycho intensity. Mookie Betts forced to guess. Freddie Freeman baffled by the cutter. Kris Bryant seeing an invisible ball. Javier Baez respecting the competitive madness. 5 completely different reactions. But they all share one thing: dread, confusion, awe, immediate respect. Because Max Scherzer doesn't just beat you, he makes you question everything you thought you knew about hitting. And that's the peak of what makes Scherzer special. It's not just one thing, it's everything combined. The stare that locks you in place, the intensity that drowns out everything else, the cutter that jams you, the extension that makes the ball invisible, the unpredictable pitch mix that forces you to guess. All of it working together to create a psychological storm that even the greatest hitters can't escape. Every single one of these legends stepped into the box thinking they were ready, thinking they'd seen it all. And every single one of them realized within seconds that they weren't prepared for Mad Max. Think about what that means. These are Hall of Fame caliber players. They've faced the best, they've won championships, they've dominated at every level, but Scherzer made them feel like they were back in Little League. He stripped away their confidence layer by layer. First, he attacks you with his reputation. You know who he is. You know what he's done. 3 Cy Young awards staring you down before you even grab a bat. That alone puts doubt in your mind. Then he hits you with the stare, those mismatched eyes boring into you, making you feel small, making you feel targeted. Then comes the first pitch. And it's nothing like you expected. Maybe it's a cutter that runs in on your hands. Maybe it's a changeup that drops off the table. Maybe it's a fastball that appears 3 feet closer than it should. Whatever it is, you're already behind, already guessing, already fighting just to make contact. Your preparation means nothing. Your scouting report is useless. Because Scherzer doesn't follow scripts. He writes his own. Every pitch is a new puzzle. Every at-bat is a new test. And by the time you adjust, Scherzer has already moved on to the next weapon. That's how he operated. That's how he dominated. And that's why even legends couldn't solve him on their first try. Scherzer has 3 Cy Young awards, over 3,000 strikeouts, 2 World Series rings, 2 no-hitters, a career that spans nearly 2 decades of excellence. But those numbers don't capture his legacy. His legacy lives in these moments. In the shock on Harper's face, in the frustration in Mookie's voice, in Freddie's confusion, in Bryant's disorientation, in Baez's respect. Scherzer's legacy is written in the emotions of the men who faced him, because he didn't just throw pitches. He broke down the best hitters in the world psychologically and physically. He made them feel things they'd never felt before. He forced them to confront a level of competition that exists beyond normal baseball. And that's why nobody was ready. Not Harper, not Mookie, not Freddie, not Bryant, not Baez. Nobody. The thing about Scherzer is that he never gave hitters the satisfaction of feeling like they figured him out. Even if you got a hit off him, you knew it was because he made a mistake, not because you earned it. That's the difference between good pitchers and great ones. Good pitchers get beat. Great pitchers make you feel lucky when you succeed. And Scherzer falls into that second category every single time. He controlled the narrative of every at-bat. He dictated the terms. And he made sure you knew that even your successes were temporary. That stare would come back. That intensity would return. And next time, you might not be so lucky. That psychological edge carried him through 2 decades of dominance. It's what separated him from everyone else. Max Scherzer turned every first at-bat into a welcome to the big leagues moment, even for guys who'd been all-stars for years, because facing him required near perfection just to get a single. And perfection is impossible when the pitcher across from you operates with that much skill and that much fury. Scherzer demanded excellence from himself, and he demanded it from his opponents. And when they couldn't deliver, he made sure they remembered it. That stare, that intensity, that dominance. It's etched into the minds of everyone who ever stepped into the box against him. And it's why his name will always bring up the same reaction: fear, respect, and the knowledge that facing Max Scherzer was unlike anything else in baseball. If this video gave you a new appreciation for Max Scherzer's greatness, go ahead and subscribe. And drop a comment sharing your favorite Scherzer moment, or which hitter's reaction surprised you the most. Because Mad Max built a legacy that goes way beyond stats. He built it in the hearts and minds of the legends who faced him, and that legacy will last forever.